Hello, hello, my name is Chris and welcome. Today we are playing D&D again, War of the Twin Gods. Today I am with the usual, Jay playing Claire, Comet playing Jackson, and
Oh
Cheeman
yeah,
playing Wes.
Oh, boy.
boy.
Alright, well then we should probably do a quick recap of what happened last time. Last time, the party, after murdering children, began finding themselves in a daze, trying to figure out what to do. After a while, They meet a interesting halfling fella, one Norrison
You
Brain,
saying fella in that serious voice.
one Norrison Budrick.
Fella.
Sorry. Continue.
After a minor talk and learning of that the Knights of Red actually still exist, they begin discussing about what to do, and eventually Dawn, another Knight of Red, walks in onto the conversation. After a brief talk, everyone decided that the best course of action would be going to the stronghold and taking a rest. While on the walk there, the party learns that the children are most definitely safe, being led away from danger by the willow flames. Vroom vroom.
What?
There was a car that drove by.
Oh,
I don't know if it got
okay.
picked up on the mic.
It did not. I was very
Gotcha.
confused.
Yeah, I heard something very quiet in the background and was like, it's nothing. And then you said vroom vroom, and I was like, oh, okay.
Don't worry, Inferno. I heard it.
All right. So, continuing on into the stronghold, you meet the rest of the members. Yizga? Yizga. I'll go over it later. You meet Yizga, a decently old, well, not decent, a high elf, who seems to be relatively old, but it does seem to be the leader of the group. A very pale human man. Brain. Oh, man, my brain. Give me a second. Notes. Where am I? There it is. Alright. It is Yizga. Okay, got it right. Reginald Fisher, a pale human man who appears to be dressed in some armor and mage robes. One Nora the Carver, a little goblin girl, who seems to be dressed for particularly stealthy type stuff. After a brief discussion, you all get sleeping quarters in a small hidden room within a hallway. But before that, most of you would have learned that Dawn is not entirely made of flesh and bone, just bone. Appearing to all of you as a skeleton. And then after a brief talk with her, most of you head to bed. Jackson heads down, changes out his equipment, and has a few nice conversations with Dawn, and heads back to sleep. But one of you doesn't exactly have a restful sleep. Claire has a pretty bad nightmare, and stays up most of the night, crying to herself. Now it is currently dawn. Jackson, you wake up seeing Mary praying in her side of the room. What do you do? Also, the drapes for Claire's bed are up.
Jackson's just gonna kind of look around, Rub his eyes a bit, groggily.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure everyone's waking up all right.
All right. Wes is still sleeping a bit, but right now, Mary is just doing her prayers. And
I'll look
hmm?
towards Claire's bed, since I knew she was taking it a bit rough.
Would Claire still be trying to sleep or what?
Um,
Oh, you're cutting out a little.
oh, sorry. Am I good now or?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Um. I don't. I think she'll probably be like that half awake thing,
Like
like
in the days, the morning
more like
days.
I'm not ready to get out of bed yet.
Hmm.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
that kind of
All right.
like I'm not going to back to sleep at this
Mm-hmm.
point, but I'm not ready to actually be awake.
Yep.
Okay, so
You're.
maybe before school. Gotcha.
And Echo is just trying to comfort you, tiredly, but trying.
Bad boss man.
And your face definitely stings a bit.
hmm
So,
I'm just
By
gonna.
the way, so healing light, the 3 that I wasted on the children 2 episodes ago,
mm-hmm.
does not come back during a short rest, so I have half the healing I normally
No,
do.
no, no. For them, if
Hmm?
it's
No, no, no,
Hmm?
healing light, not first aid. Healing
Oh,
light.
healing light. Right.
Yeah, my improved healing word
Yep.
does not come back. I'm halfway gone. I'm halfway drained of that now.
Thank goodness
Oof.
that healing first aid still works.
Yeah.
Jackson's just gonna kind of get up out of bed and head out towards the dining room area.
All right. You go to try to open the door. It is locked. You're trying to push into it. Nothing budges.
He'll look around for any like handle
Hmm?
thing,
There is like
like the torch
there is a
sconce.
torch on to the left side.
He'll move over towards it
Mm-hmm.
and
And
tries.
pull it.
Yep.
Yep. Pulling it, it does budge, but not by much, and it seems to be locked in place.
Jackson will quickly throw on his armor and go back over towards the door.
Yep. Mary, seeing you putting on the armor, gets up. Uh,
And
oh,
like
is something?
normally, I will say, normally Jackson like actually takes the time to like put on his armor, so like
Mm-hmm.
the normal time spent. No, he uses his action now. It just is on him as soon as he touches it.
Yep. Uh, is something wrong?
The door is not opening, and he'll take out the lightning launcher and blast two
All right, at this point,
bolts
I'm
into it.
definitely like up and paying attention
And
now.
Wes probably startled
Yeah, same.
awake.
He didn't start awake, but I'm definitely up now. Like I'm up. And when he like went to go put on his armor and stuff, and I was like, "Yo, what's going on?" I was like groggy, and now I'm looking at him do whatever he's doing, and I'm a little confused. I just woke up.
You watch two bolts of lightning fling from my wrist straight into the door.
Okay. You don't need to roll the hit, but you can most only try to roll for damage.
All right, so that's 3d6 then.
Oh wait, deals 3d6?
Okay, so one bolt does 1d6, but I can add an extra 1d6 once on one attack
Okay, so where's the third d6 come in?
because I have two attacks.
Oh. Oh right, we're level 5. I'm dumb.
9.
9. All right. So firing it, you see the electricity leap out of your gauntlet and land right into the wall, but it just seems to dissipate instead of causing any proper damage.
Okay, I'm up now.
Jackson's just gonna take his shield and try to. He knows it's a stone brick wall, but he's just gonna try to. Oh wait, hold on. This is an inorganic object, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shatter.
All right. Go ahead and cast it. Actually, roll d20 first.
Oof, why am I rolling a d20?
With your spell bonus.
With my spell bonus, so that's plus. Hold on, gotta look at stuff. 3. All right, plus 6. 24.
All right.
Let's go. All right. All right. A creature takes 3d8 thunder on a failed save. A creature made of inorganic, such as stone or metal, crystal, has disadvantage on the save, and then any non. Okay, yeah. So that's 38 thunder.
Mm-hmm. What's the save?
The save, it's con save. Is it a actual creature?
No, I'm just asking because in case it is a con thing.
It's a con save.
Yeah. Okay.
Please try and be careful not to breathe directly into your microphone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, my bad.
Right. What's your thing? DC?
Oh, that's a lot of dice.
No,
Hold on,
I'm
what?
just dumping out my dice bag.
Okay.
The initial one was an actual roll. So what's your DC?
Hold on, I gotta find it real quick. My Adventure Codex thing is messing up right now.
Oh,
so
don't
I
use
can't
beta.
really-
You're gonna have to rely on the old format.
Okay,
Apparently,
gotcha.
apparently, all of the D&D things decided to just crash.
14,
All right,
and it has disadvantage if it's an inorganic object
Right.
made of stone, crystal, or metal.
right, okay. So yeah, So, describe it. Well, describe how you cast it.
Jackson's just going to reach into his side pouch and pull out a encircled rune encrusted stone and just rips it straight at the wall where he knows the door is or was. And there's a moment, and the runes just start flashing very violently, and then this loud thundering glass crash noise kind of both combine in the air and just shatter.
All right. Well, did you roll damage?
No, not yet.
All right, go ahead and roll.
9 again. Okay then.
All right. Okay, so as you cast it, you see glyphs on the wall glow, and then break. You receive 4 damage
Ooh.
as you hear a resounding thunder, boom, and then you just feel backblast into you.
What kind of damage?
Thunder.
Uh-huh.
It reflected the damage back at you, I'm guessing.
It does seem to be to have suffered some damage though.
Are there any windows in the room?
Nope, this is a sealed room.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't have stayed in here.
Nope. I was thinking about it too. I was like, what if I just like stayed in the workshop?
I mean, Claire was
I will-
thought of it. She wouldn't have thought
Hold
of
on.
it, but
I'm going to use my reaction upon taking the thunder damage to cast Absorb Elements.
All right. Can absorb elements absorb thunder damage? I don't,
good question.
because that's one of the things that I don't know if it would absorb.
Yep. Acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder.
Understood. Well, yeah, okay.
And I deal an extra 1d6 of that damage type. Jackson's just gonna take his spear two-handed and just hit against the wall again.
All right. So, okay, so roll. Let's see. Roll a. It doesn't really matter. You just take 1 thunder damage in return.
Okay. Do I deal damage to the actual wall?
Yeah, you do deal it. It just not doing much.
Okay.
But yeah, after hitting it, you do see that arcane runes begin to glow at this point. And you see ice begin forming across it.
You
Jackson's
said there's
just-
ice forming across it.
Yep.
I'm gonna cast Produce Flames and just kind of hold it up to the wall and try and melt that.
It doesn't seem to just melt. It's weird. It is. You can tell it's arcane ice, but it doesn't seem to be just melting.
That's fun.
But would Claire like to
So-
roll Arcana to see what spell it's cast?
Sure.
Oh, it's gonna be Armor of Agathis.
It probably is, but I have to roll for that.
It doesn't like me. It doesn't like me anymore.
Nat 20.
Yeah, it's Armor
Oh,
of
let's go.
Agathis.
Can I, because I rolled a nat 20, can I tell what level?
It is at 6th level.
Oh
Ooh,
my
You can roll.
god!
You can roll. You can roll. You can still make it.
It will hurt a lot, though.
You can still make it. Make a roll. You won't take damage if you dispel it.
I don't have Dispel Magic.
Dang it.
Actually, does Claire have Dispel Magic?
No, I
Please,
do not.
Claire.
I just
I mean,
said
not
I
Claire,
don't.
Mary.
Please, cleric.
But yeah. But as
Start
you
your
guys
meditation
are,
right now if you need to.
at this point, Mary is putting on armor because, what? This isn't okay. Like,
This
it's-
is... Maybe don't attack the door again. This is...
I know there's a
armored.
hallway. I know there's a hallway right outside the door.
Yep.
Like that's how we got in. I will summon Miru on the other side of the door. I do not need to see it.
You don't?
It says 30 feet.
That is true.
Oh my god.
Interesting thing is, Miru's actually perched on someone. If you're looking for his eyes.
Uh-oh.
This would be Yizga, as, he's right now putting his head against hers.
Miru, fly away.
Sir, the information sharing hasn't finished.
The what?
The information sharing has now finished.
What information are you sharing?
And is silent. And then you hear, beyond from past the wall, Yizga just talking out. All right, you're all free to go. As you hear a click, and the ice breaks away, and the wall opens up. Bloody. And as you see, the high elf woman just scratching her head, looking very tired of whatever was being told.
What information did you share, Miru?
Are you saying that out loud, or are you telepathically communicating?
I'm telepathically saying it to Miru.
Okay. Okay.
Miru is going to look at Yizga and say, "You are free to share what you wish to share." And then opens up with a little pocket and jumps in. Right, so you're one of his wardens, then. You're one of his wardens, then, as she looks towards you, Jackson.
What do you mean one of his wardens?
Do you know who Miru is constructed by?
I have a theory.
May I inquire on who you're theorizing it is?
Same one I saw in my vision.
Could you describe them? Whatever it is.
Let me get to my notes real quick.
Because I can't exactly read minds on a daily basis without intruding.
An ethereal mechanical being.
Mm-hmm.
I figured just only calling him as the Watcher, but that's because he watched.
Right. She looks a little confused.
Sorry, you don't get for me to be concise. You haven't earned that right back.
Fair. Alright, I guess I can share some things then. First off, how much do you know about angels?
How much does Jensen know about angels?
You can roll a religion.
It's probably not that much.
And
I
also,
mean,
Mary's gonna go ahead and roll a religion. At advantage, since this is her religion.
sure, he has a +3.
Oh, I was about to say, what? Anyways,
Well, it's still 25.
that is a 25.
10. He has no clue.
Okay, yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Brain's right now trying to think. Well, I mean, you would know them as basically humans with wings, and
Just
sometimes
like,
halos.
Yeah, superpowered
Like
warriors.
basically ASMR, but higher.
Yeah, just stronger ASMRs.
Yeah. Most and generally good people.
Yeah.
Is that so? What do you say?
I say nothing.
So I'm guessing you know not much then.
No.
And then you hear from behind you, I do. I'm a cleric of Saint Jane, so I'd know a bit. All right. And then Yuzga, all right, then what do you know of angels? Mary? Let's see. They generally are celestial beings. What most people think of are humanoids with feathered wings and such, occasionally clad in heavy armor and such. Generally messengers of the higher angels. Or generally they're messengers and warriors, but of course there are higher powered angels, such as the archangels, who have divinity that is similar to gods. But what is less known is that there are different tiers of angel races. That being... One second, as this is a lot of information.
Huzzah for Lord Umps.
Yep. That being, first off, there are multiple ranks. Those ranks being the thrones, or otherwise known as the leading body of angels, that are under the direct jurisdiction of Malcatus. Malcatus Victalis, the twin god of light. There are the archangels below the thrones, but of course there are archangels who work on the thrones. There are the dominions below the archangels, the powers, who are the main militaristic force of the angel hierarchy, and the angels themselves. One of the less known things is that the original angels, or seraphim, are originally mechanical. They did not have blood. Well, no, not that. Instead of regular blood, they had aether flowing through them. But as of recently, most angels are now cardinals, creature, more flesh and blood than mechanical. And then cardinals have subspecies. It's a lot, but that's the main part. And Yezga is looking quite interested, actually. Has originally had her hand crossed, but had set them down and looking. Well, then you do know a lot for a worshipper. Most worshippers don't really care about much of the angel hierarchy. Well, well then that would be the gist. But you're the one who chose you, Jackson, would be one of the original angels. In fact, how does Jackson react?
Oh, he's just straight face. He's
You're cutting out.
Jackson's just straight face. He's not in a good mood.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like not like pure death stare, just like straight face and staring dead at her. And as soon as she made the comment of, "Oh, you're interesting to Mary," he kind of like steps and blocks her view of Mary.
All right. Oh, apologies. No offense. It's been a while since I've talked to anyone outside. As she you see she kind of breaks out of her seriousness and just touches her neck. If you had to deal with what our group has dealt with for the last year and a half, you get on edge. I guess. Well, I'm not entirely able to say exactly who the person chose you is, for I don't have his consent. Let's just leave it at he is a seraphim. All right. So Jackson, quick thing. Does Jackson look at Mary at all?
No, he's just
All right.
staring.
Does anyone
straight
look at Mary at all?
Oh yeah, I've been staring at Mary since she went on the diatribe about angels.
She is quite she looks quite surprised and like just like kind of fidgeting a bit like oh that's oh okay interesting just
All right.
excited a bit,
Okay.
but like still tired, like she's a bit worn.
Also, I make a mental note to not talk about my patron in front of Mary, by the way.
She has the entire background check on your
Right,
page.
exactly. I say one thing out of order and she knows everything about me.
Social security numbers,
Right.
mother's maiden name.
The exact answer to your question, which is
Yep.
who was my first patron in the
Yeah.
in the what is it? In the pantheon of the saints and angels.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All sorts of answers. Anyways, I guess I should probably make it up to you all for breakfast then. Apologies about locking you all in. I had to make sure the four of you were safe. Could I ask what each of you want?
Jackson just turns and walks back to his pack.
Understood. There. What about the rest of you?
I'm already eating something out of my rations.
All right.
Just like popcorn watching the showdown.
And
Oh no, more like I don't. They just locked us in our room. Like they half like 3 out of the 4 of us were clearly traumatized, and they decided, oh yes, the proper course of action is to lock them in their room. I don't trust anything they give us.
I will also mentally say in my head, because I know Miru can still hear. I will mentally say in my head, Miro, your services are no longer required until I can trust you.
Sir, your trust is not required of my services.
But they are required of mine.
Very well.
You are no longer needed until I change my mind.
Alright. So, Yezga is gonna just walk away awkwardly.
Good. I'm making sure the door stays open, by the way.
Yeah, the door's open. Mary at this point is also gonna eat her rations.
I ain't touching shit they make.
Yeah, exactly. I already feel uneasy about drinking the wine last night.
See, no, okay. It's like Dawn and the other dude, I trust them. They're cool. This bitch?
So you trust Norrison and Dawn.
Well, no, I trust Dawn, but that's because Dawn's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And because I also know I have Shatter and she is just a suit of armor.
Well, she's first a skeleton, then a suit of armor.
You have a cleric. Turn undead works.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Turn undead, but sadly not destroy undead. That would be
Yeah.
too easy.
Oh, I mean, we can make her run away. That's something, right?
Yeah.
Also, Yizka's gonna poke her head back around. All right. So I'm guessing you all would like to escort the children, yes?
Yes.
Understood. We'll go do that. You'll have Dawn and Norrison bring you all to the location. Would in 3 hours work?
Can it be sooner?
Yes. How soon?
As soon as we're done eating.
Understood. I'll get Norrison to finish eating. And she just walks into the kitchen.
Jackson is visibly pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we're all just ready to go at this point. Like,
All right. So I'm guessing everyone's just. What about Wes?
Yes, Wes is ready to go. I tried to roleplay earlier, but some intense stuff was happening.
You
so-
can cut in. You're perfectly fine
Please
cutting
cut
in.
Please.
Like.
yeah.
But yeah. So after a stare down at the door while eating. You all have your stuff ready. Mary's got her armor equipped. Bags are packed, and your group is ready to go.
I will say Jackson did not eat. He was just standing right by the door.
All right. All right. So the person who comes by. So you see, while looking through, you do see a few people walk to and from the hallway. You see Nora, the little goblin, has her hair like green skin, has her hair tied into a small bun with a few bones, holding it up at like a pin. Just scurrying back and forth. You also see Reginald walking by, quickly just taking a look in, like, oh, I'm guessing Yazga did the locking thing.
I'll quietly nod.
We apologize about that. She's a bit antsy with strangers. She
Yeah,
means
well, it's not like she had 8 hours to investigate us without locking us in our room or anything.
in our line of work, you can't expect every person to have 8 hours of sleep.
She actually had more than 8 hours. You guys slept in a little.
Oh no, most of us were up finishing up our own things.
I was talking about my own group.
Understood.
And he kind of like, he snaps that towards them.
All right, I'll leave you all be. As he just walks off and comes back out and walks past all of you into the courtyard with a hand of bread. And finally a friendly face Skull arrives. Walking out of the kitchen. Dawn with her suit of
friendly
armor.
to some of us.
Yep, with a suit of armor just walking out the main door. Hello. I heard what Yazga did. Apologies. We should probably get leaving then, yeah?
Yes.
All right. Come on, let's, hold up. You see her walk, and you just see her escort all of you out. Norrison's already out front, just taking a quick swig of his water skin. Well,
I don't think it's water in that water skin.
well, look, well then, you're out. Ooh. You there, pointing at Claire. You look absolutely terrible. You need a drink?
I don't think it's wise to drink before a job. But
all right.
probably.
Just so you know, my other water skin has some drink in it. As he caps the one he's holding already and puts it into his pack.
I'll have Echo go invisible and hide beside me again.
All right. But yeah,
it must be great having a familiar you can trust.
Well, he doesn't exactly perfectly listen to me either, so.
Yeah, but it won't rat your shit.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, Dawn's gonna quickly. All right, hold up a second. As she just climbs into the armor opens up. She climbs in, and
yeah, my Iron Man.
And you can see this time the armor seems to have some backpacks and stuff, like satchels. Not too differently from what you would see from any of the larger creatures. Like for Jackson, you've seen bugbears carry stuff. Dawn is carrying more than what a bugbear is.
A strong.
Yep. But yeah,
With a suit of armor, but strong nonetheless.
How does a skeleton build muscle mass?
Oh yeah,
Becomes a good blacksmith.
Well, first off, looking in, you would see that it's actually quite heavily padded on the inside.
Okay.
So it's basically the only reason it's actually fitting her is because of the padded stuff.
That was a joke remark, but I wasn't asking for a serious answer.
Well, I had a serious answer ready.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, and then you see her shadow come out, grabbing a little bell on the side and rings it, placing the bell back, and then returns to into her shadow. That would be the bell to call the willow flames to guide us. It might take a little bit for them to come out.
Just has a bell for that. That's
For Jackson though, the bell for some reason feels familiar.
the look of the bell.
No, the sound of the bell.
That's odd. He
Was there a bell?
recognized the ding of the bell.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a?
I just really quick. Sorry to interrupt. I just rolled sleight of hand. Since he mentioned that I look bad, I've been fidgeting again. I rolled sleight of hand.
Oh yeah, for anyone who was wondering, Claire does have like slightly reddish eyes.
Yeah, I did not get sleep last night.
And for those with high perception passives, you can tell that there are tear marks on her face.
Nope, he's not that perceptive.
Jackson?
Jackson is not that perceptive.
My past perception is 15.
That is high enough. That is the threshold.
That's some heavy crying. If the DC is that low, that's some heavy crying.
What is
I
the
mean,
best way to
it's
comfort
it's
her?
not too bad of marks, but it's noticeable.
Oh, Jackson also does the same artificer infusions, the concentration thing for Claire,
Yep.
and then he's actually gonna change what he does for the other one.
Wait,
Alright.
sorry, what do I have?
Not Claire, sorry, Mary.
Merit.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was about to say, wait, I don't remember having an ability from you. What?
He's going to what's your armor class, Claire?
With mage armor, it is 15.
15? Alright, it's 16 now.
Okay.
We kind of need our healer to stay tanky a little.
Okay.
Anyways.
Wait, is that like an infusion on armor or something, or what is that?
It's an infusion on robes. I can do it on
okay.
clothing as well.
Okay, cool. That works.
Armor and clothes.
So, you guys follow? Dawn... Huh, deja vu.
Ah, that's fun.
Yeah, anyways,
I haven't had that in a while.
continuing on. Man, the exact conversation, too. Anyways. Continuing on, Dawn, you all see towards the swamp area, you see a few glowing lights floating over. They seem to be playing around with each other, and then, they finally line up, just floating in front of your group. All right.
It's when the drill sergeant walks into the room.
All right. We can begin heading out now. So I guess we should just start walking. Yeah, we probably should. And Norrison just walks ahead of everyone.
I'm following the lead of the heavily armored woman, like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm following the little flames.
Sorry, what was that?
Are we like we said we were gonna escort the kids? Are we
Yes.
going towards them, or are we escorting
Yes.
them now?
We're following
we're
the
going
Willow
towards
Flames
them.
to them right now.
Okay, thank you. West follows quietly.
All right. Oh yeah. So let's see. Jackson. So the first time Jackson talked about his vision, how much did he talk about the Watcher? Like, did he? What did he
I think
describe?
I skipped over that actually.
You did. All right. Mary's actually gonna walk up to you.
Yeah, I skipped over that part. If I remember correctly, I skipped over that part.
I think I don't remember hearing anything about it. So.
I
Yeah,
definitely
actually,
would have asked about it. So.
Yeah, I skipped over that part.
All right. So
I skipped over the part about me being with someone.
Yeah. So Mary is gonna walk up to you. So
Hey, what's up, Mary?
about the seraphim you talked to. What did?
I didn't talk to a seraphim.
Okay, the Watcher.
Well, I didn't talk to the Watcher either.
You saw the Watcher.
Being honest, we did not talk.
I mean, you had a conversation, just no talking. It's weird.
He's actively stalling out this conversation.
But
yes,
yeah,
yes, he is. What's your passive insight?
Oh, Mary's?
No, I was making the joke to Claire.
But yeah,
I know that.
Well, I don't think Claire's insight is that good.
Well, no, it's definitely not, but.
Still high because cleric.
Mary?
Yeah.
I was talking
Insight's
about.
based.
I was.
Or are you talking
I
about
said.
Claire's
I was
insight?
talking about Claire.
Yeah, he was talking about me, yeah.
Gotcha.
Because you said Claire's insight.
Yeah, because
And my passive insight is 9.
Mary's a
Yeah,
17.
no wonder you were able
Good.
to get mind controlled so easily. You have a what? That's an 8 perception. That's an 8 wisdom.
8 or 9.
9
9.
wisdom
Yep.
right now.
Anyways, continuing on. So, what did the Seraphine look like?
He actually looks kind of cool. Not gonna lie.
All right.
Kind of like the look he went for. Very nice. He also had 2 birds, akin to mirror what he looks like. He had 6 large metallic wings.
That does fit. That does fit the description of most. Yeah.
A mechanical, ethereal-like being.
All right.
I actually wasn't given that much of a description. At least for the backstory that I'm looking at right now.
I'm pretty sure I gave you a pretty good description, though.
Well, I'm also like purposely trying to skip over what he had.
While you guys are walking and talking, the Norrison pipes up. Hold. White's in the distance. I'll go take care of him. You guys continue on.
Whites.
Hmm?
I like whites.
Anyways, and Norrison just breaks off from you guys and heads out to the right. Noticing and Dawn looking back to the rest of you. All right, we'll probably have to take a short detour around to the left. Follow me. As she takes out her greatsword.
So Jackson will give essentially the same description he saw. He will just ignore abstain what the Watcher had.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So I will abstain from saying the items he had.
Okay. Huh. All right. So that. I guess that sounds like most Seraphim, since no one's really seen them. Do you know what they had?
No, I don't really remember that part. It was mostly the main vision that I was focusing on.
Mm-hmm. And this is a deception. Yay or nay?
Perhaps.
I mean,
Am I deceiving the DM now? Perhaps.
I mean, are you deceiving Mary?
Yeah. Hold on.
All right, gotta roll.
All right, let's see if I can lie to the party's cleric.
Good luck.
I don't know what charisma is. I don't remember. I could probably pull up.
All right. Deception +2.
He is still playing Assassin's Creed, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it's on in my background. Oh come on.
Oof. Anyways,
Mary's. I'm pushing past
yeah,
the subject.
Yeah. She doesn't press on it. Wes, what about you?
I don't know what this man can do. I don't know if he can turn my skin inside out for accidentally saying what he has. So I'ma just not say a lot.
Well, apparently you're like working under him, and you're not even allowed to know who he is.
No,
I don't think.
No, it's not even I'm working under him. I just got called a warden You don't get
Yeah.
called a warden of something and it not being important. Wardens are for
Yeah.
jails. They are the head of a jail.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be that type of warden.
I know, but that's like
That's what Jackson's thinking, probably.
like wardens
yeah.
are like heads of things. They are like important, like
Sorry,
ward
Wes was-
spells.
You can go ahead.
Yeah,
Steven.
sorry.
Yeah, achievement. You muted again.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel like there is nothing Wes can say right now.
Oh, okay.
Wes is
Sorry,
just
I saw-
nodding his
Like-
head.
Like no, so like Wes is nosy as a
Mhm.
character. So the entire thing just went down with Jackson and him. He's like side eyeing, like, okay, I didn't see that. That didn't happen.
Sorry, I saw you on mute. I don't know if you wanted to do something or not.
Yeah. Anyways, continuing on. Anyone else doing anything beside walking and talking?
I'm like out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I did not get sleep last night, so
All right.
Actually, you know what?
like Echo
Wes-
has to occasionally pinch me so I don't like fall over.
Yeah,
Don't
Wes,
worry. Echo is doing that for you. Just come on. Just slightly nudging your cheek from time to time.
Yeah.
Wes is probably gonna move closer to Claire just on the off case it doesn't work and she just topples.
I mean, you can't see Echo. You just see a press of her cheek.
Okay.
I mean, like
Everyone-
she'll see me like start to like nod off a little bit and then like jolt back up.
Mhm.
So
Every once in a while, when Claire's really about to fall asleep, Echo just pulls out his one damage bow. Just
he has a sword. He's not gonna. That's poisonous. I might.
That's he
that
might
cause me to pass out. He's definitely using the sword instead.
just shank your owner awake.
Just shake him.
It's for their health.
warlock
It's okay.
familiars are allowed to make attack. And also, maybe he will use the bow. Maybe he does want you to sleep.
I imagine if he wants me to sleep, it's not in the middle of the swamp unprotected.
Yeah. After a brief talk, Norson does come back. Just, oh dear Lord, Whites. At least I got the drop on them. Right. So, you guys gonna? Anyone else want any conversations while walking?
Not really.
No.
No, like I said, Claire is just kind of like she's half zoned out. She's too
Mhm.
tired.
So after Jackson and Mary's conversation,
Mhm.
right? Like Wes sees it. He's like, "That's awkward." So he goes near Claire. It's like, make sure he doesn't topple. But what does Jackson do after that? Like, does he like walk away or walk past or something?
He's still walking.
Yep.
He's just walking.
And Mary did back up a little so that she's closer to Claire.
Okay, so
What
noticing
I'm hearing is people are basically building a fort around me right now.
Human forts.
Listen. Some undead's gonna be super unlucky and try to like get close to you and then just die. Just
Surprise!
instantly
Two
drop.
bears summon upon you. You get punched in the face by thunder gauntlets, and whatever Mary's weapon is gets brought
long
down on
sword.
their face. The long sword gets brought down on their face.
sounds about right.
Yep, just done.
So Wes noticing that one, Mary's gotten closer to Claire, so he's not as afraid
Mm.
of her like falling over, and also that Jackson's alone. He's gonna like slow down. I'm guessing Jackson's behind us since they had their conversation
Mm. Yeah.
in the group.
Yeah, probably.
All right, so Mary moved up.
Yeah.
So wait, what's the
Yeah,
marching order?
Jackson has. Yeah, I'll say Jackson has the rear.
Mhm. So Norrison's on the side because he's a ranger.
He's just scout.
Mm-hmm.
I was just following Big Armor Lady.
Yeah. Okay, so you're right behind her.
Yeah,
Right
okay,
behind
so,
Dawn.
like,
Yeah,
All right, so
So then
I
Dawn's...
wasn't thinking about like strategizing.
so, like it's Dawn and then
order.
everyone else in the middle, me in the rear.
and Norrison out on the side in the front.
Yep.
And then a few wisps just flying about.
Just vibing.
Yep.
Yeah, so Jackson's just chilling. He's walking, keeping pace.
Oh yeah, you do see that one of the wisps is just flying around you, trying to, like,
Round two.
Me?
Jackson.
Oh, okay.
Jackson's gonna cast dancing lights around him and start following the wisp.
Oh no! It's like, it's getting just like it seems agitated at you.
Why is it agitated at me, bro?
Yeah, what did you do?
I don't know, man. Oh wait, hold on. Is this the one? Oh wait.
I wonder what
I
happened.
think I know which one this is. See this one like constantly like keep looking at like not looking at me because I don't know if it has eyes. Just like
They do not appear to have eyes.
so is it like bucking towards me like
It
gets super close.
It gets super close. It doesn't touch you because it's gonna burn you.
Like fading punches at you, pretty much.
I'll just say, listen. If you're the one that I attacked earlier, I apologize.
And it just like floats about and then just goes away.
I don't think they understand human speech.
Hmm?
I don't think they speak common.
I'll say both in common and celestial.
They're Fae. I don't think they speak Celestial either.
I don't know, man.
Probably Elvish or Sylvan.
Well, no. After you spoke Celestial, it does move away.
Oh, I guess I do speak Celestial then. Alright.
I mean, I also have Elvish.
Not sure why a Fae would speak Celestial, but alright.
I
Ooga
did.
booga,
I
that's
did
why.
believe. I did say that the Willow Flames do work under.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right, but yeah, so to answer your question, West, Jackson is just chilling.
Okay, so Wes falls back, and then he's gonna walk next to Jackson.
Hey, West.
There's like a little smile, and then he raises his hand and like sort of presses your shoulder, and he's like, "I'm sorry."
Jackson is going to Jackson is just going to very confusedly go, what?
Yeah. After you say I'm sorry, you just see Dawn's head turn around and turn back around.
He's just going to like very like slowly like turn around and like slowly takes your hand off. What?
And then Weston like, "Yeah, that's it. Like, you don't have to know why. That's it." And he's
Like, I
like,
thought-
even though you moved his hand, like, because again he just pressed your shoulder, right? So it's like a nudge. He's like, "Yeah," and then like pat your back twice, and it moves back towards the front.
This is.
I thought it was about to be like, I'm sorry, punches. Like, I was like, Jackson is just confused now.
As he moves to the front, Wes looks visibly better. Like,
Mary's just looking back like, did you need something, West?
oh, if I pass Mary and I see her looking at me confused, like, do I know she's confused?
She appears confused.
I'm just gonna look at her and be like, I was a dick. And then keep going towards the front.
You basically physically see question marks appear even more on her face, just like, huh?
And I will say, Mary probably noticed this, but when Wes came and like tapped him on the shoulder and then said, "I'm sorry," his lightning launcher kind of flickered a bit as he turned.
And the rest of the walk is very awkward.
Jackson is just confused.
Not
Yeah.
for Wes. Wes is just in his own world now. He's like, I did it. I like.
Wes did what he wanted to do.
Well,
Right, yeah. He apologized for what he felt bad for, so he feels a lot less guilty.
so as you continue, I want everyone to do some challenge checks for traveling.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good
so
focus.
basically, it's a group effort thing where you guys roll checks. There's going to be 4 separate checks for this one. Depending on, so basically, you choose a skill, you describe how you're going to use the skill. You
Or do we steal
roll.
this from Joe Cat?
I mean, this is a common thing, isn't it?
I don't know, but
I've
I'm
never-
guessing
This
you
is
got it
also
from
using
Joe Cat.
crit roll.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I'm
I
pretty
don't
sure it's
watch
a
Crit Rolls,
common
so-
D&D thing.
I never watch
I've
Crit
never
Rolls,
heard
so.
I've never heard of this.
I only watched it.
You haven't?
So I have no idea.
No,
Like,
I've been watching Critical Role since it came out. I have never heard of this.
Pretty much, we all name
is
an
it
ability.
like the
Explain
traveling
why.
group challenge skills?
Pretty much, there's a set DC that all of us collectively have to reach. We all say, what skill we're using and how we're using it to effectively help us travel. Pretty much.
Okay.
Okay. Is this like, are we traveling far away, or is this like a few hours trying to travel?
This is a few hours kind of travel. And depending on certain what type you're using, you will get advantage because you have the wisps. So, who wants to go first?
Jackson will.
All right.
I will try to, because he's in the rear, so there's not much he can do.
Yeah.
And he also doesn't have his familiar because his familiar is a dick.
Would you like to roll a perception check?
I'll do survival.
No. Just roll it. This is not for the skill challenge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even if his familiar is out, he's still not using.
Jackson goes around and casts guidance on us one by one.
I mean, Mary can also do that. Well,
18.
18. All right. Yeah, you definitely see your familiar up in the sky, flying around.
Oh, cool. I'm not gonna use them. I said I don't require his services, so I do not require his services. Jackson has a little proficiency in survival. He'll just kind of start watching where everyone else steps and knowing his knowledge of the woods and stuff, the swamps. Just make sure he's going the right way.
Yep. Did you roll?
No, not yet.
All right. Well, since you have both Jackson and Mary for this, you guys do get a D4.
Oh, nice.
17.
All right. So, nothing difficult. Just a bit of mud. A bit of foliage that guys have to go through. Nothing bad since you have a literal hulking tank brushing through everything, foliage-wise. But the interesting thing is, the walking tank never seems to sink into the mud. In fact, just seems to walk across it like it's no big deal, like it's solid ground. Anyone else want to do a skill challenge, or I can have an NPC do one?
I want to do perception.
All right, go ahead.
I like to go off the idea that Wes is still a little traumatized.
Mm-hmm.
So being in the swamp, he's like, something's gonna come attack us. So constantly, he's just on the lookout for just in case something moves.
All
And if
right.
it moves, what is it? All right, like what's happening?
Yeah,
Talking
yeah.
to animals, figuring
Okay.
out what's going on around them.
Okay, go ahead. You do get a roll with advantage since you decided to also talk with animals and stuff.
Nice.
I don't do four.
I don't think she needs it or the D4.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
You also had a D4 because guidance.
Oh yeah.
So 27 plus a D4. You almost rolled a nat 20.
Yeah. So two successes so far. Basically looking around, nothing much. The wisps seem to be bringing you in a pretty good path. From just looking around, you would say that if you didn't have the wisps guiding you, you would have been traveling way slower. The other thing is, you notice that the path you're traveling is oddly quick. Like, you don't know, it's less of a, perceiving thing and more of a, you could slightly feel that there's something affecting your travel speed that's heightening it.
Ooh, okay. Can we like detect something for that? Oh, yeah, it's probably really
You're
not.
free, you can
useless.
do a, with your perception, with your perception, you can tell that something's definitely affecting it. It might be the wisps. It's either like your guides being the wisps helping you along, or
Favorite terrain and favorite enemy.
or
Just
the
a hunch.
ranger.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, the ranger side of me is showing.
Anyways,
Indeed it is.
anyone else?
Since Claire's kind of out of it, can I have Echo make a insight check since he kind of knows a little bit about the Willow Flames, if he can detect any like oddities, make sure like
Yeah, go. You
kind
would
of
have
like roll that.
advantage
Yep. Okay. Cool.
since he did pretty well originally.
Well, it's an unnatural 20
Nice.
anyway.
It's a
So.
double
Add
9.
a D4.
Yeah.
Add a D4.
At a
19.
D4. Indeed.
Double-
Yep. So that's 19 plus
Yeah.
3 is 22 plus
You
the
pass.
wisdom.
Um,
It's 23.
What Echo knowing,
Yeah.
basically knowing Willow Flames, they know their job. They are guides. They are supernatural in nature. They know how to guide people around. And in fact, Echo would know that there has been some knowledge of Willow Flames being able to speed up travel. Yeah, because
Not the
the paths they show are in particularly a bit weird because they seem to be faster than a normal path would be.
Echo in his glory days of Feywild College, one of his best friends from his frat house actually used to be a Willow Flame.
The Willow Flames can't speak, so very hard to communicate with.
If he
It had
could
to use
already
Morse code.
detect, if
Well,
he
I
couldn't
mean,
already
Echo
detect
can't
how it
speak either,
feels.
so-
Echo can't speak either. Yes.
Yeah.
Does
But
that mean
Echo
Echo
can
has
just-
knows Morse code?
That means Echo can detect how people feel. So that's how him and his
exactly.
best friend
Exactly.
Willow Flame were able to talk.
Willow Flames are on fire.
And sprites only have 2 hit points.
Yeah.
And it's fine. Listen, Echo's a Chad. He doesn't care about fire.
Gets knocked out. Anyway.
And slamming 2 pints of vodka.
Actually, if
every
Echo
night.
does try touching a Willow Flame, he would burn to a crisp instantaneously.
Yeah, instantly.
Because
By the way, you say 2 pints of vodka, they're just
Yes.
symbols. They're just symbols.
But yeah, no, Echo would, because of over damage from a Willow
Yep.
Flame.
Just die instantly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
Anyway, enough of this side tangent.
Yes, let's see, I'm gonna have, well, our ranger buddy here help with guiding. Oh yeah, it's a pass. We're
Wait,
good.
hold on. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we making group skill checks if we have a ranger and we can't be lost by non-magical means?
You're technically right now not traveling by normal means
Alright, fair enough.
Okay.
because the Willow Flames
We're traveling by magical means, technically. Okay.
magically enhanced means.
Well, anyway.
It just says you can't be lost by
Mhm.
non-magical means.
Doesn't
Anyway,
mean the Willow
it's just-
Flames can't.
Anyway, moving on.
But yeah, moving on. Eventually, you all get very deep into the swamp. Like, in the distance, you can see a large mass of water. This you would all know would be the huge lake. That is in between Dundal and brain. Why do you not remember the other capital city? Kashan, the capital city of Tendoka.
Hold on. What?
Yeah, Kashan. There. If you go to the map,
Mm-hmm.
it's not in here. It's in here.
You said the lake is from where?
Like, okay, so if you go to the map, you see Dundal. It's like basically the center of the map.
Yeah.
The lake is to the west, the
Okay,
southwest.
gotcha.
Yeah. There's the swamp, and then there's
Bro, we
the
went far.
yeah, and then you see Kashan. Well, you don't see Kashan because it's way too far away. But yeah, you would know that this lake separates Kashan and Dundal. Well, after traveling a bit, it does get closer towards noon, like in between noon and dusk. But you arrive at your destination relatively what is it?
Uninterrupted.
Uninterrupted. Beside the initial thing with Norrison moving out to deal with the whites. That you all travel upon a large hollow, a large tree that seems to be hollow on the inside. This appears to be a willow tree, a pretty big one. And Don speaks out. All right, we're here. Hey Norrison, I believe this is your 4th time here? Yeah, been a while. We have to go in? Yes. Alright. You all ready for a fun time? As Norrison just looks really not wanting to go in.
I'm imagining I know what this is, but Claire doesn't. So, because Harry Potter doesn't exist in this world. What do you mean by that?
So across the portal is a, right, this would be one of the portals we use to travel into the Shadowfell.
Boy.
The Willow Flames take the kids to the shadow. What? Hold up.
So we have a this specific one takes us to to the Lady in Red's manor.
I thought you said the Willow Flames kept the kids safe. The Shadowfell in itself is not a safe area.
I mean,
This is out of character.
yeah,
by the
this
way.
is out of character. But yeah, anyway, so are you all ready? As a fair warning, it is very drab in the Shadowfell. And Norrison pipes up. Yeah, like that can describe the whole of it. Alright, I'll go in first. And you just see him hop over the into the hole and walking straight through, disappearing into the darkness.
We go through. We just see his skeleton dead on the floor.
But yeah. What are
I'm waiting for Big Armor Lady.
Hmm?
I'm waiting
Oh.
for Big Armor Lady. I
all right?
trust her.
All right.
I'll go through.
Yeah. So Jackson goes through.
New place. I'll go through. Yeah.
All right. Jackson walks through.
Jackson also read a book about the Lady in Red and the Skeleton Man, so
Mm-hmm.
kind of interested in the skeleton lady. This lady.
If Jackson goes through, I'll follow him through.
All
I
right.
trust him too.
Mary's gonna follow with you. Dawn's just gesturing the west.
I don't think Wes knows anything about I forgot the name of it already.
Lady in
Shadowfell?
Red.
Well, not the Lady in Red, the
Shadowfell.
the Shadowfell.
Mm.
Right. So he is sticking quite close to like the Shield Lady too.
All right.
Because he's like, okay, I don't know what I'm gonna face when I go into this place. I know nothing about this.
All right.
And for the Lady in Red, he only knows what the group was already told.
Yep. All right. I like. Holding on. So sticking close to Dawn, she just nods her head. All right. Just follow closely, and she walks through. I'm guessing you also walk with her.
Yes.
All right.
Closely. Wes is very nervous about this.
So Jackson, walking through, you feel a pull. You just feel a quick tug, and stepping out, you see that you've passed through a willow tree into a very black and gray landscape. With only a single red manor in front of you. Looking around, it's the only it's barren, completely barren. The only scene of color is within the manor grounds, with its high black walls and multiple watchtowers lining the area. Besides that, the inner area of the watchtower of the walls is full of greenery and a large red manor. And besides that, you see children, a few children running around and playing a game of ball. With a few adults running about, either running about doing chores or are in the watchtower standing guard.
Okay.
And then you see a particular person sitting in a small pavilion off to the side. One wearing a very deep red dress with a veil covering her face. And Norrison, looking to you, well, welcome to the Shadowfell. And everyone else also begins popping in.
Jackson just kind of stops and starts looking around.
Wes,
Does this look at all familiar to what he's already seen before?
No, this does not look at all familiar. Though you do get a familiar feeling to some degree while looking at the lady in red.
Familiar to vision feeling?
Not vision feeling, no.
Okay.
Well, yes, but not like she's from the vision.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright, I just want to check something really quick. He said it was going to be drab. In here, more or less than the camp, for me.
Mm-hmm. Like, so, looking around, the only colorful place, or normal-looking place, is inside the walls. Everywhere else just looks like a barren wasteland. Like, just deep shades of gray, whites, blacks.
Probably a little bit worse than the camp was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like, in fact, dark skies. And only dark skies.
Yeah. Claire is immediately on edge when she enters here.
But yeah, so...
That's all I wanted to say.
Alright.
Wes steps through, sees everything that's happening, and then relaxes, and then steps away from the lady, like, okay.
We're safe.
Nothing's bad on this side. Right, yeah, nothing's bad on this
Complete
side.
opposite reaction.
Mary, you can see in Mary's face, she's just, like, looking around, just like, okay, and then just sees the children and, is calm.
We are in the realm opposite of your patron. How does this make you feel?
Anyways.
Are the plants different here? Are the plants different here?
Like the plants inside the walls?
Yeah.
They just appear to be normal plants, like your standard grass, your standard flowers. In fact, you see a lot of flowers, actually.
So I think Wes is confused. Like
She
she's
has a
probably
very
trying
green
to
thumb.
ask. I guess so. Like why is that happening? Why is it barren over there and not barren over here?
Mm-hmm. Alright, Dawn quickly speaks up. We should probably greet the lady. Please do follow me as, she begins walking. She also begins greeting a few of the, adults walking about. You hear a few, you just hear them talking about, all of these adults seem to be armored in some way, either armored or dressed in robes, basically watching over children or doing some duties. And you do hear Dawn ask about a few specific people. Hold up. There it is. One of the first names that she talks about is Artorias. And in fact, she sounds quite not what is it? Like she sounds quite excited when she talks about Artorias and the other person and another person who is Dusk. Just talking excitedly about where they are currently. And basically just getting a reply of they're inside the manor doing stuff. And you get escorted to the pavilion. The children are all have taken notice, but are keeping their a distance away from you guys because new people.
Yep.
But overall, it is oddly comforting in the area, even though outside of it looks absolutely dreadful. And you all begin walking closer to the pavilion with the lady in red.
Can we get a read on her, like an insight check?
So you can see in her position, she's sitting there, expectingly, looking towards the people escorting all of you. You do see Norrison has walked off. For the lady, though, she appears... let's see. For the lady, she appears highly refined and pretty tall, like around a bit above 6 foot. Even if she's sitting. Getting a closer look, she appears to have brown hair, reddish brown hair, long reddish brown hair let down. She's wearing a elegant red dress with fine, very fine, noble embroidered decorations. Some of the more noticeable things are her veil over her face, her white gloves, and let's see, and a simple gold chain necklace with a diamond on her neck.
This is the palette swapped Lady Domitras.
No, she is not wearing a hat. She is, however, holding a red parasol across her lap.
She is not a massive vampire MILF.
No.
Oh my gosh.
No, she is not.
I just felt myself take psychic damage from that.
Good.
I see we have guests. As you
Oh,
hear
the player, not the character, takes 3 psychic damage.
Okay.
As she speaks, you hear a highly refined, deeper volumed, and a deeper toned woman. She speaks with a very elegant tone, and but quite powerful type of tone. I see you have brought guests, Lady Dawn. Yes, my lady. We have, these are, and she gestures for all of you to introduce yourselves.
Jackson kind of takes half a step up and bows his head. My name is Jackson Bernor.
The lady nods her head.
I'm kind of out of it. I don't know exactly what to do, so I'm just gonna mimic exactly what Jackson did, and say, "My name is Claire," and quickly step back and zone back out.
Wes, seeing those two do that, is gonna be like, and my name is Wes, and then he's gonna do like a little half bow thing. So he's like, I gotta give respect because I don't know if I'll die if I don't. So.
All right, and then Mary, Mary begins speaking. Mary Volus, as she gives a very polite curtsy.
There's that awkward moment in Claire's brain where she almost said, "I'm Jackson on accident." But that's
You're cutting out.
I was considering it.
Apologies. Can you repeat that? I didn't get much.
I said there was that awkward moment in Claire's brain where, as she was bowing, she was about to say, "I'm Jackson Bernor." But I was like, wait, no.
I was honestly considering it. I thought about it.
I'm so glad you were, and I wasn't the only one.
And then the lady replies, "I welcome you all to my estate. Apologies about how Yezga treated you all. She's most definitely tired from the past year and a half of work. I apologize, and I do hope to make it up to all of you."
Wait, hold on. I don't mean to interrupt. You said, so you know what she did?
Yes, she contacted me beforehand.
You know what information she received?
As you ask this, you see a mechanical bird hopping up onto the table beside her.
Oh shit!
This is Miru.
Fuck off, Miro. Go away. I want my information.
I
want my information, Miru.
As you see this, Miru gives a elegant bird bow.
I want my information, Miru. I will scrap you.
And he says,
"Oh my gosh, Miru, I swear I will turn you into scrap." Me, the player, not my character.
"My lady, the visitor of Ends greets you."
Wait, what?
And then looks up to her. And then and you see the lady in red turn, and reaching out her hand, she gives the bird a little pat on the head and rubs down the back. "Thank you. You may tell the visitor of Ends that I said hello, and I do wish to dance with him once again once summer arrives." And Miru just nods his head and hops a bit away.
Fucking correct. I was correct. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just super excited. I was actually correct.
Now, and then turning back to all of you. Now, I do believe you all here for the children, yes?
Yes, ma'am. We are.
Understood. I do request that you all stay for the night. Actually, no. Right. Apologies, but I don't believe you'll all be able to stay for the night, for, you see, time is a bit different here. I would say that for most people, one day in here would be half a year outside, though I can guarantee that when you return, it would be the exact time that you entered. Or, if you would prefer, I can make it the next morning.
I'm sorry, does she have control over time?
I think she has control over the time we spend in the Shadowfell. Like Archface have command over the time we spend in the Feywild.
Oh, okay.
Out of character.
Yeah,
so Archface control how long the time difference is in the Feywild. So I would assume it's the same for this in this instance.
I mean, Claire's still out of it, so.
I mean, if it is no intrusion and you are able to make it the next day, and we won't be here for half a year because we would like to return these kids to their parents as soon as possible. We would love to stay for dinner if you'd have us. At least I can't speak for the rest of the group, and I'll turn around and look towards them.
Wes nods. He's like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Mary just gives a polite nod.
Jackson will turn back around and say, "We would love to stay for dinner if you'd have us."
Sorry, really quickly, when was the first missing persons case for the children?
I think like
Wasn't it also a year and a half?
it was when the people it was when the knights vanished, or
Yes,
quote
it's a
unquote
year and a half.
So a
vanished.
year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the kids, probably no time has passed. Oh, that's gonna be such a mind fuck.
Yeah, their parents are like, "Oh, why have you not aged? Is this actually my child?"
Yeah, that's weird.
I mean, at least we can literally say to the parents, "You have lost no time with your kid."
Yep.
Well, the kid has lost no time.
No, the kid has lost time with the parents, but the parents has lost no time with the kid.
Mm-hmm.
The kid is still the same age, but for the kids to the parents are not the same age. So the kid lost time with the parents.
At least it wasn't 100 years.
Right. Yeah. I thought it was gonna work the other way around. That like they've been here for like that entire time. Which
Anyways, less metagaming right now and more. Let's get back to this. I would love to have you all for dinner. Dawn, you are free to step out of your armor. And like Dawn just like, and you basically think of just seeing an exclamation point up here above her head, like, oh, right. And Dawn stepping out is no longer a skeleton. She appears as what for Claire, she appears as she did in that picture.
okay.
A large 7'4", when not
Why is
7'4",
everyone freaking huge?
5'6", a large 5'6",
Oh, okay.
pale skinned, white-eyed, white, like a white silvery colored eyes, and very muscular frame.
Somewhere in the universe, Steven Universe is playing, and all you hear is, "All I want to do is see you turn into a giant woman."
And everyone here is cute.
But yeah, currently she's wearing a basic leather clothing underneath. Just like a tunic, some leather gloves, pants, stuff like the normal stuff. And her voice doesn't sound echoey anymore. All right, it's been a while since I've been in flesh. That is yeah, no, still not used to it, even in my
Flesh mech.
Flesh mech. In my 500, give her, no, not 5.
Bone mech has acquired flesh armor.
It's still weird. Anyways, I'm gonna go talk to my brother. See you all in a bit. As you see, she quickly runs off into the manor. Also gives a quick greeting to the children and a few of the adults.
Jackson wants to pry about this woman's dancing partner so bad, but he's not.
Does he appear? Okay.
He's thinking about it.
I mean, is he gonna hide it? Like,
no, I mean he's actively in his brain thinking about like, should I?
Like physically showing his interest in a specific question.
There's a question he wants to ask, but then he quickly shuts it down and just keeps it in his brain.
All right. Anyone else have anything to ask or talk about?
No, not really.
Nope. Well, nope, not really.
Claire is pretty much like you know when you pull an all-nighter, your brain has difficulty like focusing on more things, more than one thing at once.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that for her right now. Like even if she tried to think of like she couldn't think of anything important right now.
All right.
Well, Wes is curious about the details of what kept the lady in red busy for a year and a half, like the nitty gritty of it. But
Is
there's no
Mira
way he would
still?
ask that.
Mira's still on the table,
Okay.
just looking from to you and back to the lady, back to you, back to the lady.
I'll look towards Mira and just give him a quiet nod.
And he nods, and then a portal opens behind him, and he just steps back into it. So, Jackson,
Oh shit.
you are one of his wardens.
Okay, someone's gonna have to tell me what that means because I have heard this now twice, and people keep saying it like I know what that means.
Right, so I'm guessing you haven't been much informed.
Bro, all I know is I have a bird, and even then, he doesn't say shit. Sorry, pardon my language. He doesn't say anything.
And she gives basically a fair. You know how people gesture like it's fine?
Like, understandable.
Yeah. Um. Hmm. Your patron, for lack of a better word, likes to keep quiet about himself. What do you know about visitors? I guess since you have heard, what do you know about the visitor of Ends?
Literally nothing.
Understood?
Man just showed up one night, and that's it.
A vision, then?
Yes.
Understood. Let's see. She, let's see. I'm right now thinking for. Give me a second. Alright. And looking down quickly and looking back up to you, just basically looking you over. I see you also have a interest in the mechanical.
I tinker every now and then.
Most likely one of his many reasons of selecting you.
Love him.
He is well known by multiple names. One of his more well-known names is the Reaper King.
I was correct when I picked that book. Let's go.
Though that is not his real name.
I'm assuming I cannot learn his real name.
Not unless he chooses.
Very well.
Now, Hold up, I'm really trying to think this through. Did Claire roll for something?
Yep, I rolled for something personal. Nothing happened.
All right. No. Now, if any of you have
I rolled
questions,
wisdom with disadvantage.
now if any of you have questions, this is probably the best time to ask.
Ah, well, that's why I just rolled, so nothing to ask.
Would any of you like tea?
I would like some.
Yes, please. I'm rather parched from the walk.
Mary gives a nod. Does Wes do anything?
Wes, that's your kid.
Wait, what?
I didn't hear that either.
I said, Wes, that's your cue.
Oh,
Like the silence for like 5 seconds as all of us responded.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing. You put me on the spot like that, I can't think. Nothing. Wes does nothing.
All right.
Blink.
would West like tea?
All right.
Yes.
I will.
But I won't drink it. But I'll take it.
You won't drink
I
it,
will
but
ask
okay.
Artorias to bring out tea.
He's trying to be as polite as possible,
Mhm.
but at the same time, he's like thinking of childhood like rumors, like you drink things in a different plane, you get stuck there. So he's like, I don't want to get stuck. But
Yeah, Jackson's alright with being sucker.
Anyways, but yeah, so you may all take your seats. So basically in the pavilion there's a table and then a few chairs strewn about. Like about
Ja-
6. She just gestures to seats.
Jackson will cast off his armor.
Mm-hmm. Mary looks up.
Hard flex. Hard flex on Mary. The other heavy armor wearer.
She's not wearing heavy armor. She's wearing a medium.
Oh, I thought she was wearing heavy.
Scale mail.
Ah.
But yeah. Is it impolite to wear my armor? And the lady just replies, no, it is fine. In fact, most of my knights and scholars don't even take off their equipment. To my displeasure. As you can see, she's putting her hand right under her veil, like somewhat face palming.
Jackson is used to drinking tea with his wife, and at any time he got yelled at for wearing his armor, so he is taking off his armor.
I'm guessing everyone just takes a seat in one of the chairs.
Ha, joke's on you guys. I don't wear armor.
It must be nice not to. What do you do with that extra like 10 minutes? I guess you get to
Cry.
sleep in, right?
Cry. Clearly, if it wasn't evident on my face.
Be depressed, drink,
Yeah, exactly.
maybe read a tragedy or two.
Listen. If there's only those 2 options of either wear heavy armor or be depressed, I'd rather take the heavy armor.
I would agree. But yeah,
Bit too late for that now. I can't. I'm not proficient in heavy armor.
I'm about to join the firehouse. I'm about to join the firehouse, and I'm about to get both.
all right. So after anyone gonna speak up?
I'll roll another wisdom save. Hold up.
Jackson will say, so who is this dance partner of your visitor?
She gives a light chuckle.
Nope.
No?
I'm still too sleep exhausted.
Gotcha.
Rolled an unnatural 1.
All right.
I can say that.
All right. Well, it's quite impolite to ask about the, I would say, dancing life of a lady. But I'll indulge.
I just want to know who the man is. Because she said it's the visitor, right?
You heard the Visitor of Ends and the Reaper King.
Did she say it's the same?
It's implied.
Okay.
Well, I can't say for most times what he appears. I can most definitely say that when he dances with me, he appears to be a skeleton. One with a crown and a luxurious cape. And he is quite the fantastic dancer.
Man's got style.
And
Question really quick: is the tea we're drinking caffeinated or no?
the tea has not arrived yet.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
And by saying that, the tea is now arriving by a man in a suit of armor.
Okay, is it caffeinated or not? This affects my next roll.
Jackson has
I mean, I
caffeinated
haven't
tea leaves.
described who, Mr. Artorius.
Okay.
Jackson also has caffeinated tea leaves if you do need them.
Anyways, a knight, as you see the person walking up to you, he appears to be a knight clad in highly engraved plate armor, with the main colors of red and white, lining all over, with white runes lining his certain parts of his armor. You can see a sword stowed away onto his side, and in his hands is a tray of cups, a teapot, a few assorted tea items for what you would expect at a tea party. This is all in his right hand. In his left, he carries a tray of baked goods. And walking up, he appears. He walks with a certain grace that you would not expect a person in plate armor to be walking in. Placing down the baked goods and the tray of tea. My lady, my lady, the tea has arrived. Nightfall Evergreen. Would it be up to you? The lady gives a nod and gestures for the tea to be poured. Of course. And begins pouring a cup of tea for each of you, and presents them to all of you. No, I must be back to my duties. And then turning to the rest of you, he speaks. The baked goods are created by Dawn. Please do enjoy her handiwork. As he walks off.
I'm already sipping away at the tea.
Yep. Anyone who sips the tea, you have calm emotions for the next 4 hours.
Nice.
Oh, nice. All right.
Hey, just what you need, Claire.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Cool. I will make this next roll.
In
without
addition, with
knowledge.
a +1 to your wisdom modifier.
Oh, nice. How
Hold on.
convenient.
Hey, Claire.
Hmm.
Congratulations, you just sipped on weed tea.
Yeah.
But yeah,
We totally did.
So, quick thing. Anyone wanted sugar or milk?
No.
Sorry?
Sugar
What's
or
a
milk
share?
for your tea?
Oh. I want milk.
I don't think Claire's even thinking about that. She's just drinking.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, Wes does get milk. Mary puts 1 or 2 cubes of sugar in.
No. My rolls are so bad.
Do you need the roll? You have calm emotions active.
You still can't do it,
I'm
bitch.
still saying I need a roll.
Hmm?
I'm still saying I need the roll.
Hmm. All right.
I should have
Are these
added-
saves?
The first 2 were this one was a history check. So that should have had a +1, but because I'm trying to recall something while I was delirious. I might have a question for her if I roll well enough, but if
Alright.
not, I'm just keeping that.
Well, go. So continuing on. The tea is very nice. It is light. It is quite fragrant. Fragrant, not fragrant. Well, hunting wabbits.
Hunting rabbits.
Anyways,
Very, very quiet. I'm hunting what?
anyways,
Duck season.
Rabbit season.
Duck season.
Rabbit season.
Anyways,
Sorry, we're annoying.
I mean, all players are the DM to some degree. Continuing on, let's see. So the tea, it's so light, fragrant. By itself, it is quite it has a slight sweetness to it. Not too much. It's a very mild sweetness and a let's see. How do you describe tea with a flower that does not grow in the real world?
Describe it with things that do grow in the real world.
I guess it has a slight jasmine to it. With a slight hint of what is it? Dandelion? And yes, you can make dandelion tea.
I don't drink tea. All this means nothing to me.
Yeah. Yeah, so any questions?
All right. Well, since she's prompting me, I'm gonna roll again. All right. All right. I'll say that's high enough. That I do think of something. Yes. Actually, after we're done here, can I maybe speak to you a bit in private?
Of course. Can I roll a quick insight check?
I mean, sure, but I'm not exactly giving any. I'm not trying to hide it or anything.
She's
it's like,
also she is technically a
I
god.
want to talk to her about something I don't want my party to know.
Yeah, no,
about.
she's trying to figure out what she wants you're talking to her about. You can text me.
Okay.
Yeah. Huh? Wow, these are really low rolls anyways.
Oh, dude. Should I message you or not?
No, you're good. You don't need to.
Okay.
I don't think they're good enough.
Fair enough.
Jackson's gonna. It escapes from his mouth. So you'll see he kind of like ponders on something real quick, and then it kind of just like shoots out of his mouth. How do you contact the Reaper King or the Visitor?
You may just.
How do you talk to him?
I don't. Usually it's through messengers, like your companion. As Miru's just like sitting
Is
there.
he back now?
Yeah, Miru's back, but he's grabbing he's eating a pastry.
Bro only came back for the pastries, just like eating, like halfway eating one when the lady like says through messengers like Miru and like points toward it. Miru's just like.
I'd like to mention I'm definitely letting Echo go wild into the pastry.
The familiars are digging in.
Yep.
Echo and Miru just having a quiet eating contest while this is going on.
Mary does.
Win, right?
But yeah, looking at it, Mary also has like a small pastry in her hands, just eating it.
I thought you were about to say Mary is also just tearing in. I was like, yeah, that's not clear.
Mary is politely eating.
Politely eating. The rest of the other two are just like mouthfuls.
Mm-hmm. Miru kind of just has to just peck at it. But yeah,
Echo is working his way down like a Danish or something.
Yeah, currently,
it's like the size of his entire body. Yep. He's just like scarfing it down.
Yep. The one he's eating is cherry jam filled.
I don't
know. Now this is making me hungry for pastries.
I was already hungry before sitting down. So,
anyways, question. So, other methods of contact are generally when we go to dance. Otherwise, it is decently difficult if you are not a chosen as such as a cleric or some other such chosen. As for you, you see him through visions on occasion.
Visions. I've only had the one.
Hmm?
I've only had that one.
I see. When did you first establish contact with you?
Well, I didn't do anything. Um,
Which is why I ask when. Most
about 2 months.
times, uh, he chooses instead of the recipient choosing.
About 2 months ago,
I see.
if I remember correctly. Yeah, because the
Mm-hmm.
journey here. Yeah, because the journey to Dundal was 2 months.
Mm-hmm. All right. Um, anything else?
She was just asking when.
Hmm?
She just asked when, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and you
so,
replied, right?
yeah,
2 months?
2 months. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she just asked anything else. And this is to everyone.
Oh, okay.
I just had the one question I wanted to ask her
Mm-hmm.
in private. So, nope, not really.
I guess Mary, Wes, you can go.
I say, yep. And Wes, again, is just observing. Wes has no experience with any of the older things like Claire
Mm-hmm.
or any knowledge about this. He's like, okay.
All right. Mary is gonna go ask something. Excuse me, lady, but what do you know about the other gods of Dundal? I'm not particularly well versed in the other gods since my pantheon is mainly, well, my residence is mainly in Janark. And to this, a lady looking towards Mary replies, I have not had much contact with them. These days, their influence has waned quite a bit since the establishment of your pantheon. While some, such as the Wild One, have shown their displeasure between the winters, many of the others have decided that it is better to maintain a peaceful contact with the people of Terstoff. Okay. Anything else? Okay. So continuing on, a- after a brief bit of just talking, about information about how Dundal's doing currently, a bit about the rest of the world. I guess for Jackson, so you are from Tendoka, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
How are things in Tendoka? I rarely receive information from there.
It's all right. Uh, I'm not really part of the main Tendoka area. I'm more on the outskirts, towards the southern part.
I see. Um, alright. May I ask where the rest of you are from? I know Mary's from Janark.
I'm from Majadoctra.
Ah, it's been a long while since I've talked to anyone from Magidoctora. How are things there?
I wouldn't exactly know. I haven't been there in a while. I'm kind of looking down at my tea now.
Mm-hmm. Understood. And telepathically speaking to you now, would this have anything to do with your question?
Can I reply?
Hmm?
How do I want to phrase this? More so what happened to me after.
And you see she gives a visible nod, and turning to west.
West goes, well, I'm from, and he sort of realizes that he doesn't actually know the Fergal name of the place. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he was there when he was younger. He doesn't actually know what that is. So he defaults to the small town where,
Oakenvale.
yeah.
All right. Oakenvale. I do believe that Norrison was from there. Though he particularly doesn't talk much of his past, which is fair. And Mary, how are things in Janark? From the last I've heard, the pious have decided to enact some not so great stipends upon trade. Yeah, currently the reformists have taken hold, and are right now, trying to spread, right now trying to spread, the Pantheon a bit further into Tendoka through, trade networks, but otherwise nothing much beside the power struggle. As, her tone, Mary's tone gets a bit annoyed. Not to anyone in particular, but more like about the political stuff back at home.
Gotcha. Jackson will attempt to excuse himself from the conversation. Jackson just kind of probably stands up a bit. Thank you for the tea, but I'm gonna try to send out a message.
Understood.
And he'll look towards
would you...
Miru.
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
And just quietly say in his head, "Well, looks like I'm gonna need your service."
Miru just look towards you, pecks at the pastry, throws it up into the air, and just swallows it whole, and flies up to you.
Me when my friend says that someone's messing with them.
Oh, so did you finish your tea?
Yes, I did finish.
All right, I was gonna say if you didn't finish your tea, Miru would have finished it for you.
I'm not letting that bird anywhere near my tea. It's my tea.
But yeah, I do believe this would be the end of our conversations for now. I believe I have some visitors, as you see, as you look towards where she's looking, and you see some interesting black mass walking towards the front gates. If you would excuse me, as she walks off, towards the front gate, basically. You can also see that many of the adults running around have a few adults have ushered the children inside the manor, and most of the armored and robed figures have been set up around the gates. If you all would please step inside the manor, I have some undead to deal with. As you see, would anyone like to roll perception?
Sure, I will.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
If this always goes well for me. 8. Yeah.
You're going up.
You're going.
I am
Ishi.
going up. I am going up.
Dang it. You're infecting my dice rolls. You're stealing them from me.
I'm stealing.
Oh right, I forgot. +1 to your wisdom modifier. Right.
Oh,
And
then
9.
Then I have a 13.
And then both Mary and Wes have 22.
Above 20.
Oh my
Mhm.
god. Did
Um,
West not drink the tea?
Hmm?
Did West drink the tea?
did Wes drink the tea?
Yeah, I drank it. I watched you first, and then I
okay.
drank it.
But yeah, Mary, you just see the dark mass of things approaching the gate. Jackson, you can see that there appear to be some differing sizes in the mass, so like a few pretty tall figures. Pretty tall dark figures. Wes and Mary would see a few of the figures are large, really large, like really large shadowy figures approaching the gate. And I'm guessing everyone would like to enter the manor,
Indeed.
right? So everyone entering the manor, it's very gothic inside. Though pretty well lit, type of, like something similar to like a church or a cathedral. And the children are actually playing in like an indoor playground type of thing.
Of course they are.
It seems like this has been a common occurrence that they've decided to build something in here.
The inside of the manor is actually just a McDonald's.
Well, there are a lot of rooms, enough so that you don't have time to look through them all, but you do see Dawn beginning to walk out, like, sorry, I need help with handling all of this. Dusk, though, should be able to show you around. Huh? You're really... Alright, fine. You're leaving them to me. Go have your fun. Hello, I'm Dusk, Dawn's twin brother. Looking at him, he does appear very similar to Dawn. Except shorter, though, in comparison. Not as built as Dawn is, but still pretty, muscular. Appearing with a slight beard and mustache, and, brown hair, and, white eyes. And, begins ushering all of you guys towards, basically showing you around. There's a pretty large dining room, the kitchen area, the ballroom, and then, your quarters, the guest quarters, and then, the children's quarters. Everything very stylish, very gothic in nature. What you would expect in a pretty large manor. I'm guessing you guys would like to skip forward a bit if nothing much happens, yeah?
Yeah.
Jackson will ask if there's a private room that he can enter.
Your quarters are private. They are individual rooms.
Oh wait, we have actual quarters. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. She wants us to stay for dinner. Jackson will go into that room and then summon Miru. Well, actually, no,
Not
Miru was
exactly.
already out.
Yeah, Mira's on
Sorry.
your shoulder.
Yeah.
I'm becoming more and more convinced out of character that she is in fact a vampire.
Jackson will just set Miru in front of him, and then just kind of sit there for a moment and go,
Yes, sir.
I need you to send a message to the visitor or Reaper King or whatever name he wants to go by for me.
Mirror just cocks his head, trying to think. Whatever.
What does he want?
Well, sir, I do believe you can use any of his epithets or his title, Reaper King. His epithets are the Visit of the Ends, as you have heard.
What does the Reaper King want? What does he want?
From you, or in general, sir?
From me for right now. I'll figure out in general in a...
He wants you to maintain a balance that will soon be disrupted.
And is that what he wants overall?
Yes. He prefers the dead to stay undisturbed, and he prefers the living to live their lives.
For someone named the Reaper King, he's fairly altruist, isn't he?
He's altruist until someone starts messing with the balance of things, in which case he's gonna start using that title.
If you wish to know more about the Reaper King, please do visit the libraries of the Silver Spire.
That's
Or-
a long
Oh
journey.
no!
That's a long
Or
journey.
you may visit Janark for their archives, though the Janark archives are much harder to investigate.
I don't know, man. These silver spires are seeming really interesting to
Oh
explore.
no! I don't want my character to die just yet, and trust me, you have a vested interest as a player in Claire not dying as well.
There's just this thing in the back of my head that makes me want to go there right now.
I believe that is called metagaming, sir.
Take 1d4 psychic damage.
Ow! Ew, my headache.
I don't want Claire to get fireballed at the gates.
Trust me, I don't either. I don't want to see your new character anytime soon.
Why
Anyway,
not? He's gonna be so much fun.
anyway, anything else, sir?
How secretive does he want me to be?
Can you please extrapolate then?
About him. How secretive does he want me to be about him?
From the others.
Yes.
He prefers his existence not known to most people.
Very well. Alright, that's all. Let's go meet
Understood.
back up with the others.
Understood. But as also a fair warning, you are not the only current warden walking the lands. Keep your eyes open for people holding white lanterns or black scythes.
Good
And
to know.
he just hops onto you.
Just gives me that ominous thing, then just goes back to bird mode, just peck, 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 peck.
Becky, want to smash?
Oh my god!
Let me smash.
Becky, let me smash.
Anyways,
Please.
anyone else doing anything?
I'm kind of waiting for the lady in red to get back so I can talk to her.
All right.
Waiting on my conversation with her.
Yeah, Mary's right now finding a window and looking out towards the whatever's happening.
Yeah, I'll probably do the same then. If I can just watch.
I will send Mira out to watch.
Oh, okay. So everyone who wants to watch, well, an interesting thing happens. First off, a large wall of fire appears on the other side of the gate. First, initially, and you hear loud roars coming out from the other side, and then the large dark figures begin flying overhead, but are immediately struck by multiple beams of light from the soldiers, the knights and scholars on the ground. A few scholars in the air as well. Basically, a fight ensues with the lady in red seeming to command her followers, I guess, for what you all would know, and repel whatever this faction is away, leaving 0 traces. And if Claire wants to, she can roll Arcana to know what spells are being used.
Sure, why not? I was decent at.
You can recognize a few good spells.
16, not
all
bad.
Right. So the first spell that started off everything was a Wall of Flames. This one does seem to be a bit upcast.
Right, that one was pretty obvious, though.
Mm-hmm. The other spells were, let's see, Guided Bolts, Arcane, Brain, please, hold up 1 second, let me just, you know what?
Arcane Brain!
Let's see. You see a few not Guardian of Faiths. Let's see, a few Fire Shields. Let's see.
Going down a list of spells that might potentially be cast in this type of situation.
Mm-hmm. Lightning Bolts, a few Fireballs.
Surprise, Wish was cast.
Death.
That, one of the soldiers transformed into an ancient gold dragon.
Whoa.
Summon, let's see. Summon, Celestial. You do see a few Conjure Elementals being cast. Let's see.
I make note of all the spells I will never be allowed to cast.
Positive Energy Flood.
Yeah.
The opposite of negative energy flood, which is quite rare. And also odd since positive energy flood actually is a healing spell.
Well, I mean, they're undead, so.
Let's see.
It's Minecraft logic. Potion of harm heals. Potion of healing harms.
Exactly.
You would also have seen Orb of Invulnerability cast on a few figures. And and then a few spells you don't know.
Okay.
Anyways, but yeah, after the combat finishes, the soldiers begin patching up. A few people cast spells to heal people up, that type of stuff. Anyway.
Well.
But yeah, you would also all have seen the Lady in Red cast a few upcast spells, such as a
Power word kill.
such as multiple casting of fireballs at once.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Okay, don't fight her. Ever.
Listen, man, she's dance partners with my quote-unquote patron. You think that was ever an option?
Yeah, so after the combat, dinner is prepared. it's quite the feast for most of you. Alcohol is served.
Oh yes, how much?
Uh,
Much are we about to have?
a
Yeah,
good
exactly.
amount.
A good amount?
Yeah, let's just say it's enough to feed a barracks worth of people.
Oh no.
Because
Jackson drinks moderately because boss's dance partner is here.
As much as I want to cut loose, I'm not going to because I have an important question to ask.
Mary doesn't drink, and what does Wes do?
He nurses one drink. He nurses one drink, so like he drinks it over the entire night. Like, yeah, I'm
It's a
totally
really
drunk, you guys.
yeah. These are all pretty good drinks.
Jackson drinks Mary's drink just that way she can feel included.
Mary, I was gonna say Mary never asked for a drink.
Jackson specifically ordered one for her so he could take it.
Yes.
Mary's just having cranberry juice.
If people ask, Mary did get a drink. Did she drink it? No, Jackson did.
All right. The night goes well. You guys talk to a few people. As dinner goes. Most of them seem actually are actually really old compared to their actual appearance. Give or take, ranging from 9,000 to current. Like, they've been around, like, there's a large range of people in age. So, like, around 9,000 years old to the most recent, a few hundred years old. So there's a range.
There's precisely one elder elf in this party.
You dang kids back my day.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, to your surprise, no. The oldest elf is 372 because in physical years because of being in this current location.
Okay. Anyway,
but the dinner goes well. You get to chat about stuff. People are making merry, basically. Not merry as in Merry Christmas, not merry as in the character Mary.
They are physically rebuilding her.
No, clearly multiple simulacrums are being cast.
Exactly, yes.
Anyways, a lot of snow. There's like a lot of snow. Anyways, but yeah, after...
Congratulations, the DMPC is now immortal because anytime she dies, one of her 20,000 clones will come back to life for her.
Anyways, but yeah, continuing on, dinner goes well. You got, after dinner, everyone heads to their quarters. A few of the guards who don't require as much sleep are up and continuing doing their tasks and stuff. And for most of you, it's like you all look out, you can't tell the difference between night and day.
Well, I mean, yeah, Shadowfell, I wouldn't expect to.
But yeah, you all just generally trust. The children are also getting in bed and such. All of them seem to say, man, this is the first night they ever been here.
Alrighty then. I mean, I'm still waiting for my conversation.
Yeah, so. And well, everyone goes, and Claire, you do get beckoned by the lady.
Alright. I will go and have my conversation with her now. When you were talking earlier to Jackson, you seem to know a lot about other deities and angels and such. Does the name the Appraiser mean anything to you?
Alright, give me 1 second. Please roll insight.
Me?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm real great at those. I'm definitely don't have a negative to that. Do I still have the +1 or no?
I did say 4 hours, right?
Yeah.
It's probably passed by now. Yeah, it's passed by
Damn it.
now.
Damn it. Okay, back to a -1. Oh, not bad. 18.
Right. She gives a brief, like, oh,
Oh no.
that name. Not from any facial, showing because her veil was covering it, but definitely from her body language.
Yeah.
The Appraiser, that's a name that I have not heard of in a while. Let's see. What do you know of the Appraiser?
Uh, well, quite a bit, unfortunately. Um, I was kind of one of his followers for a while.
I see. So that is why you have her dagger.
Yes. I did some horrible things. I'm trying to make up for it. But I left the cult. I didn't really get a whole lot of information from them afterwards. I mostly told them that I was on a secret mission and for them to not contact me or else it might impede upon it. So, do you know what happened to them? They've been disbanded for a while, or at least I haven't heard anything from them.
Yes. Do you know who Edward Ember Flame Ember? Hold up. Right. 1 second.
Okay, out of character. That name sounds familiar, but I don't know if I know them.
Ah, yes. Do you know the name Edward the Ember Branded?
Again, name sounds familiar. I don't know if I know them or not.
Yeah, you would know them. He is actually so during the war and during the final duel between the two generals or two
Wait a
champions.
minute. Hold on. Wait. What?
Edward the Ember Branded would be the Terrastov side's champion.
Oh, right. I remember hearing about this now. Yes, I have heard of him before.
He was to be one of my knights. But one day, he decided to return to his home. After I told him about cult activities rising. Specifically about the use of child experiments.
I wince at that mention.
In a fury, he left. And last I heard, he hasn't returned. Last I've heard, backpedal a little. Last I've heard, he has burnt down the town and hasn't returned. So I'm unsure of his current location. I also don't have any current connections to him.
I kind of just stare, contemplating for a while.
And on the Appraiser, while I don't personally have much information on him, I will tell you that he is one not to be trifled with. He's unable to be empathized with. Or I should say he cannot empathize with anyone. He has two epithets, the Horrid Appraiser and the Dark Teacher. And I will say that at most, he currently resides in the woeful abyss, which Claire would know is basically hell.
Yep. Back
Or,
when we...
well, no, not the abyssal rings. Correction, I renamed it. It is the abyssal rings.
Yep. Back then, we were attempting to make effectively a vessel for him to escape from.
I believe the Crystal Heart experiment, yes?
I didn't have any direct tie to it, but I believe that's what it was called. Most of my
Understood.
memories from back then are very hazy. I try my best not to remember, but I need to make sure, at the very least, that no more harm will come from them.
That is difficult, to say the least. His influence has been on Averon for a long time now. I believe he was also around during my time as a mortal being. While I currently do not know what his plans are, I do know that, regardless of his plans, he still has footholds across Averon. To what degree, I do not know. How does Claire appear right now?
She's, like, this entire conversation is kind of taking her back again.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, ever since she started the conversation, she's been very fidgety. She's been, like, scratching at her knuckles a little bit. And she has not made eye contact at all. So she's kind of just... She's very anxious. It's clear that, like, this conversation makes her uncomfortable, but it's something she thinks has to happen.
Do you want to know why Dawn is a skeleton in the mortal material planes?
I'm kind of caught off guard by that question. Sure.
I will say that it was the Appraiser's doing. I believe 2,375 years ago, one of his chosen had placed a curse on her mortal vessel, causing it to forever decay until only a skeleton remains. The only reason that she's able to walk around is because of my blessing. While it has caused problems for her, I was able to maintain a proper protective ward onto her skeleton. And now she does her best to continue fighting in my name, even though I could not help her. Her tone is somber as she tells you this, like that of a friend who couldn't help someone, like a friend who couldn't help, like someone who couldn't help a dear friend. There we go.
Right. Right. I don't expect to stop the Appraiser. I doubt I'll ever have that power. But at the very least, I'd like to minimize the pain I've caused from spreading.
I can definitely see why Saint Donna chose you. And why
I'm very grateful to her.
Rantoriel allowed you to pass.
I'm very grateful to the both of them.
She gives you a nod and looks out. It's odd. I always had a minor ability of clairvoyance. Not the clairvoyance that most people use. One to see partially into the future. Your future is muddled. All I can say that there is a chain attached to you. But you are not the one that is being tied down.
Oh God, what does that mean?
Do you... Hmm?
I don't know what Claire would make of that. What do you mean by that?
I've seen a brief glimpse of a vision of you. Or one of a dagger with a chain attached. But this chain is attached to a cage. Though what is in the cage I cannot see. You may have to ask someone else to see this vision for you. As, you see, she places out her hands, beckoning for you to hold it.
Okay, I'll do so.
Right? And, taking her of her hand, she, using one of her nails, she cuts into one of her fingers, her pointer finger, and, begins drawing a, small rune on it. This rune is in Celestial, and it is a rune that says Remembrance.
Okay.
And, after finishing writing Remembrance, letting go, you feel a slight sear of heat. Not too bad, but like a quick flash of pain of like burning metal, and then looking down, it's just a red mark, nothing bad, of Remembrance. Show that to someone you believe who can see visions. At least someone, and they will be able to see what I saw. Who knows, they might be able to see more than what I can see.
I'll nod to her. Thank you.
No, I must take my leave.
Of course. I'll
And
quickly stand up and back away.
mhm.
Thank you very much for your time and your answers. And I'll leave to go back to my quarters.
She gives you a polite nod and watches you walk away. And she returns to her quarters. All right, I think that would be it.
It ran a bit over there.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm a roleplay hog.
You're good.
You're good. Don't worry, everyone else will get their light of the day. Well, for the viewers though, if you enjoyed, please do give it a like, comment, and subscribe. Maybe share it even. But anyways, we're gonna end it here for now. See you all next time.